One company is on a mission to put 1 million people to work each year. Sounds like a big number, doesn't it? Not to Express Employment Professionals. Maybe you're a skilled welder, or you're an expert in logistics and distribution. We take pride in connecting the right people with the right company. Let us help. We'll open doors for you. Express is on a mission to put 1 million people to work each year.
This is Christy Skojak Taylor with Business Reel, and I'm here with my friend Jean Almond. How are you this evening, Jean?
I'm doing great, and we had such a good time kind of explaining last week what we were going to be doing, but now we're getting going. We are at First Carolina Bank, and we're going to learn about the banking industry.
Right.
Very important to Eastern North Carolina, to Rocky Mount. I didn't realize until I've in fact, looked into it a little bit more. We know the history of a lot of banks around here, but it's really big.
Yes.
Our history is, but we're going to do that. Then we've got a future of going to some manufacturing places.
Yep.
So a big, wide range. And if you're watching thinking, well, gosh, I've got a business and I'd really like to have them come and talk about what we do, then call WHIG, or can they call you at Express Employment
They can call me at
Professionals?
Express, which is 443-1199. Basically, I got together with Bobby Booth and we got talking with Jean, and I was like, you know what? There are so many businesses in this area that nobody knows anything about. And to me, it's so fascinating to be able to go and talk to those businesses and meet them and go out on the floor and see what their employees do. I actually had, I don't think I told us this last time, had an opportunity to go to the egg factory. Never been there before. Tried to tell them
Eggland's Best?
Eggland's Best.
Okay.
Tried to tell them I wasn't going. I refused to go in the chicken house. Wouldn't go there, but the eggs, as those eggs come out on that line and go in those cartons, and you have to take the carton and put it in the box and take it's just like the old Lucy show where they're doing that. And I was amazed at how those women and gentlemen could do that work that was supposed to be done, because I could barely do one carton. They were doing 2 cartons. There was a lady.
At the same time?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they would do 2, and they had that whole line going. And there was one lady, she'd been there doing that for 7 years, packing eggs in this box. And it was just, you don't ever think about when you go to the grocery store and you're buying your Eggland's Best eggs, it never occurs to you what it takes.
I thought it was automated. I would not have expected that people would be sitting. And I've been visiting family on the West Coast and seen Eggland's Best, and I've looked at my kids and said, they're homegrown. I mean, our entrepreneurial history in the Rocky Mount area and Tri-County area is huge, because people were used to coming off agrarian livelihoods. They are creative, they are inventive, and they are hardworking.
Yep, absolutely. It is automated, and then it goes to the cartons, and you pack the cartons. But anyhow, what we're supposed to be talking today is the service industry and how huge the banking industry is in Rocky Mount. I'm not from here. We moved here about 25 years ago with the PNC. No, PNC didn't come first.
That was RBC? Was it
Even
Centura?
before that.
Centura, and before that, Peoples and Planners?
Yeah, Peoples and how that banking industry has it grew, Rocky Mount. We're here at First Carolina Bank, and it's just been amazing to me to speak with Kristen Brabble, to learn more about what they do. And even though the huge banks in Rocky Mount are gone, we still have local banks, and we still have local people, and they really care about taking care of people from Eastern North Carolina.
And they hire a lot of people here too. So
They do, absolutely.
let's go talk to the CEO and the president, Ron Day. Okay?
Wonderful, good.
Ron, thank you for speaking with us. It's always nice to see you. And you, First Carolina Bank is one of 2 community banks headquartered in Rocky Mount. And there was a day when the banking industry was huge in Rocky Mount. And Am I accurate in saying we were kind of the banking capital in the eastern part of North Carolina at one point?
Oh, I would say the banking capital of North Carolina at one point, with the small exception perhaps of Charlotte.
Well, and the real big ones have consolidated and you know, have out-of-town ownership now. But frame for us the importance of banking even still in Rocky Mount.
Well, I mean, I think banking is important in any community, no matter which one that it is, because it's a conduit for economic activity. And Rocky Mount has always been blessed with a tremendous amount of business acumen, perhaps more than you might find in any other community of 50 or 60,000 people. And so it's a place that has been the starting point for a lot of the business activity, and the bank then follows the success of the businesses there.
And why in 2012 y'all started this bank,
Here,
right?
we
Why? What need did you see that y'all decided to fill?
Well, I think since the crisis in 2008, the community bank has been under assault. There was a sense that community banks were a big part of the impetus of the Great Recession itself, when in the aftermath it's been proven that that really wasn't the case. And so at that time, when things began to get bad, pressure was brought to bear on the community banking industry, and there wasn't a lot of money in terms of capital flowing into the community banking business. And you were continually seeing larger banks get larger and garner more of the share of the financial assets. But the fact is, people love community banks, and I have a background on both sides now, certainly more recently on the smaller community bank side, but customers love community banks and the personal attention. And so the people that began to organize to raise the capital to buy this institution recognized that, and I think also recognized that the timing was very good for that. Some who may have started it a little earlier after the recession may not have had the success that we had. I think we timed it in retrospect very well, and there were many people still in this community that felt like that the area could support another locally based institution, and I think that's proving out.
Well, and in this day, I was just listening to the radio coming over here that there's more consolidation, Walgreens buying Rite Aid, and the commentator was saying how big are we going to allow things to get and lose a lot of the personal touch that you're talking about. And I do think Rocky Mount still has some of the small town feel, and there are a lot of people who want to walk in and you know my name.
They like dealing with someone that can make a decision. They like dealing with someone that can finish the task for them. We have all of the bells and whistles that any other forward-looking institution would have in terms of technology, but we have a lot of experience here too that allows somebody to come in and get something done much more quickly. And again, technology has evolved to the point now that you don't have to be that big to afford that technology. The other thing is there's a lot of conversation in the industry about that you have to get bigger because of this sense that you can't be profitable when you're really small, and you have to have scale, that term that you hear a lot. The opposite is true, in my opinion, and I think that is what we're learning. And we see a very long future at a company of our size that sort of grows organically just by getting larger in the community where it currently is.
And is that your goal, to get larger within our community?
Absolutely. There's a tremendous amount of financial assets here. There's still lots of healthy financial institutions here that we think that we can do things better than they do. And using that model of quick decision making and local touch, we feel like we'll be very successful.
When you hire people, obviously you've got some seasoned veterans in banking such as yourself, but what are the different, do you want to get somebody who's been trained? What type of aptitude do you look for in bringing in new employees? Are there certain givens and then you can train them, or do you generally get people who are already trained?
I think it's a mix of both. You can't go at all with inexperience and training to your own formula, but I do like to have a healthy mix of that. I like to have youth. You know, one of the challenges in the industry right now with all the consolidation that's gone on and all the cost cutting is companies don't invest in training their people the way they did when I came along. I sat in a classroom for 6 months when I first came out of college and trained on things like what does a guarantee agreement mean? What is a promissory note? How do you negotiate? Doing role plays, learning how to exercise proper etiquette at a dinner table with a customer. We don't do that anymore, but it's
What
still
fills that void then? I mean, if they're not doing that.
well. It's you default more towards the experienced person, but the fact of the matter is the youth in the workforce today have a lot to offer in terms of their creativity and in terms of what is going to appeal to them as they build their financial assets. I mean, you and I, unfortunately, are not going to be the ones that are driving the banking institution from a customer standpoint in 15 or 20 years. It's going to be others, and they're going to do things very differently. They don't even contemplate walking into a banking office. So I think having a healthy mix of that, we have 24 employees, but we have a handful who are very young, who are in positions of responsibility, that we take an active role in training them up and learning from them about what they think is important. And we spend a lot of time on that.
And I think you're absolutely right with looking to the future. When you look at the numbers of millennials, I mean, they're going to take over and might as well get ready for them and transition. But I also think that as you put in some of the more technologically savvy things too, that it's good for all of us to, you know, it saves time, it avails fewer people to have to be called to ask certain questions. So, you know, that technology piece is important. So I've seen in my tenure in Rocky Mount, which I've been here a long time, moving around people within banks. I mean, I know when some of them downsized or moved corporately out of town or whatnot, you have been able to get some of the superstars.
Oh, absolutely. We just hired one here recently from a local larger institution competitor that sort of kind of like coming home. He wanted to come into a place where he had a little more influence, a little more say-so about what was going to happen and not just be considered to be a number. And so, yes, there's still a wealth of that talent that exists here that is experienced that we can kind of mix in with some of the youth that we've hired to help train them up.
And good point.
Yeah.
If you were to look at the mix, 24 people, how many different levels would you say? Like there would be maybe 4 tellers, 6 tellers. How many different clusters of levels of jobs are there here?
I would say probably 3 or 4. We don't like to have but so many layers between my role, for example, and the end customer. You know, if that gets too hierarchical, that's not effective. I need to be able to feel close to that relationship, and so I don't have but so much layer in between. But we do have distinctions between levels of producer roles, people that manage relationships, and then we have distinctions between levels of people who actually manage people within the company. But that distance really between myself and the end customer is never more than really 3 deep.
And that's good that we hear that you just hired somebody recently. So there's, as we talk about future jobs and whatnot, you're probably always on the lookout for a really good future employee, aren't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're constantly looking for the next best person, and we constantly are evaluating how we're doing, and that leads to, you know, what type of employee that you need to help execute the next segment of your strategy.
Great. So if people watching are thinking, gosh, sounds like a place I'd like to work,
Please, yes.
come talk to you. Ron, thank you. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Finding the right employee can be demanding. From recruiting to interviews, Express Employment Professionals does the work for you. We get to know your business and who you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for skilled labor. Maybe you need a new executive to join your team. Find qualified people and support using Express for all of your staffing needs. Let us help. We'll open doors for you. Express is on a mission to put 1 million people to work each year.
Hi, welcome back to Business Real. This is Christy Skojak Taylor, and I would love to introduce you to my new friend, Kristen Brabble. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kristen.
Absolutely. I'm a corporate officer and director of retail banking here at First Carolina Bank. I've been here for about 5.5 years now.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful. Tell me what you do. What is
Yes.
that?
Yes, well, it's a little bit of everything. I wear many hats. I'm really responsible for shareholder relations, a little bit of HR, and I'm over all of our branches. We have 4 offices, very unique offices. We have 2 that are in a suite, so they're very private banks, and then we have 1, like you can see here, where we have tellers in the front, and it's just, they're very busy. So we have 4 very, very unique offices.
And we're on North Winstead Avenue here in Rocky Mount, just
Yes.
to let people know.
Right.
Where are the other locations, Chris?
Greenville, it's right down there by the WITN station. We're very close to the mall. Reedsville, way out there in western North Carolina. And then Raleigh, we just opened our Raleigh branch in June.
Wow.
Yeah,
How very exciting.
it is.
How exciting. And now, I'm sorry, I think you said this, but I missed it. How long did you say you've been here?
5.5 years.
Wow, long time.
Long time.
Long time. And what did you, obviously you didn't start as the office manager. Tell me what you started doing when you were
No, absolutely. So 5.5 years ago, I started as a teller and customer service representative over in our Greenville location. And then President Ron Day and CEO, he came over and asked me if I would be willing to do more. So I was very excited, and they asked me to move to Rocky Mount, and I'm here today.
Great.
Ron talked about training and the fact that things have changed dramatically through the years, that they used to spend 6 months being sent away for training. How does that differ to the training you had, Chris?
The training here is very personal. We get to sit down with, almost everyone, our CFO, our CEO, our branch managers, the tellers. We really sit down and learn everything on every level. We really try to get a very good understanding of the bank, but it's very personal. We don't get that elaborate 6-month training here. Yes,
But probably enjoy not being sent away for 6 months too.
absolutely. It's a huge investment.
It is a huge investment, and I was thinking in terms of for you to have that one-on-one right here within this operations where you are now would even mean more because you're crafting relationships with everybody too during that time.
Oh, absolutely. The benefits of just coming down and spending a week on the teller line. You meet so many of our customers. I work upstairs most of the time, and spending a little bit of time on our teller line, you actually get to see who comes in every day. You get to see their faces finally, but a face with a name.
Oh yeah. Another thing Ron mentioned is you're always on the lookout for new talent.
Absolutely.
Tell Christine about that.
Yeah, we are always just looking for good, professional, well-spoken, well-written people, individuals. We just, the tellers and the customer service representatives, they are our frontline people. They are what everyone sees when they come into the bank. They don't see me every day. They don't see Deborah Medlin, our CFO, or Ron Day. They don't see us every day. They see these ladies down here. And we are always looking for people who have that great smiling face, come in with that wonderful attitude, that positive attitude, that even if it's raining on their parade that day, they just have that great positive outlook on life.
I'm going to pop something in here real
Yeah.
fast. It's not this bank. We had another bank that we worked with, and the professionalism of that bank and of all banks, I think, was just one of their most important things. We would have to train our people before they interviewed. Do not chew gum. Wear pantyhose. Iron anything that you're going to wear. And in today's society, ironing just isn't something that people always think of. If you're coming out of high school or coming out of college, you don't think about it. As far as professionalism, how important is that here? I'd assume it's pretty important from the people I've seen.
That is one of our key pieces. Being professional, dressing professional, acting professional, looking professional. I mean, that is key to us. I mean, once again, can't say this enough, but this is what our customers see. I mean, we upstairs, we dress very professionally. All the guys have on suit and ties. I mean, they may not be seen every day, but we want to be shown with the best appearance at all.
Right. Wonderful.
Do y'all work at all with any of the community colleges to look for certain degrees, like associate degrees or anything for, and if you were to go out and actively look for a new employee, would you look for somebody with certain majors over other majors?
Well, I would say no, but accounting is very big in a bank, as you can imagine. But I would like to touch on that. Wesleyan, we've partnered with Wesleyan and do an internship program here.
Great.
So we just had one of our interns come in last fall, and she just wrote an article for the paper about it. So we're very excited. She's finishing her degree this year, and she came in and spent a couple months with me and a couple months with our CFO, and just learned all about the bank. She did a little bit of the marketing side with me, kind of what happens in community involvement, and then spent a little bit of time in the financial side with our CFO. So we do a lot with the community in that area as well.
If you were, I've been working a little bit with Mark Hinson
Yes.
at Wesleyan. If you had to talk to other businesses in the area, what would you say to them about doing an internship? Do it, don't do it, oh my gosh, why would you do it? Just what would you say to the community as a whole? Because they need to know about these internships at Wesleyan.
Absolutely. Well, being pretty young myself, I had to do 2 internships through school. I learned so much as an individual through those about being professional, like you were speaking about. But as a business, so as a student, it's very important. We enjoyed it. But as a business, I can't think of anything better. You are bringing in someone to help them, to train them. They may not stay at your business, but you need to show them what's in your community. They're not going to know what's in your community if you don't let them in.
Right.
So as soon as Wesleyan asked us about an internship, I mean, the first thing we all said was hands down yes. I mean, it may take us a few extra hours every other week, to sit down and talk to someone about what we do here, but they're getting a great experience, and we're showing them that we have amazing jobs here in the Twin Counties.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. We've done that too, and that's why I was so excited about it. And after talking to Mark, I was like, what do you mean you have to convince people to do internships? Why aren't all the businesses doing that? So
we would jump over that, and all the time we do. We enjoy it.
I bet that. Let's see, back to kind of a little bit about the bank. I got us off track, which is not an unusual thing for me. What type of things does your bank, what do you do in the community? What does First Carolina do to help the community as a whole?
Absolutely. So, Jean, you see us out all the time. We are very involved with the Chamber. I'm actually the chair of the Small Business Committee with the Chamber, so we're out there with our small businesses all the time. We are part of United Way. I'm a loan executive with United Way as well. Our tellers, it's a huge thing to be community oriented here. Our tellers are out there all the time. They'll get out there and do 5Ks. The Monster Dash is coming up tomorrow. We're just out there.
Are you monster dashing?
I am not.
Oh. Well, how are you going to dress up?
Oh, I'll find some way to dress up. But
okay.
Running, I think I'm a little out on that one.
And with the Rotary, you're on the committee for the big mud.
The Tackle the Tar.
Yeah,
we're very excited about that. So, I mean, First Carolina Bank, we are all about giving back to our communities, especially Wesleyan and, like you said, Rotary, Kiwanis. I could name a long list of things that we do here in our community. And everyone here pitches in. Our CFO, she's on the My Sister's House board. We are all, every one of us are involved in something because it's important to get out there. Yeah.
Chris, Ron mentioned that he really liked bringing in young people, and certainly you represent that. What do you see as the benefits of that, and what do you think having a nice blend of ages, what does that do for the bank?
Well, from my perspective, you need the experienced people to keep us younger people in check all the time. We don't know what we're doing, but we love to bring in new ideas. So we have a girl that we hired in our Greenville office, and she is now actually at our Raleigh office as the office manager. We hired her in Greenville as a teller, and now she's an office manager. And she's young, she's around my age, and we we bring in new ideas, but sometimes these ideas have been tried by our experienced people, which we don't know. So we have the older generation, the experienced people to always keep us in check. But it's a great mix that we have here.
Does sound like a good balance.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Always good to talk to you and see you, and thank you for what y'all do in the community too, right, Chrissy?
Oh, absolutely. You guys are just amazing out there on the street.
Thank you.
So-
Well, so are both of you.
I was going to say, well, the three
So
of us,
are both
the three
you.
of us all run into each other.
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Great. Well, thank you, and Christy and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was so exciting to learn about First Carolina Bank and to learn about Chris and to learn about Ron. And I'm so excited that they were willing to talk to us today. That was just great.
Well, and they loved it. And I have to say that if you're, again, thinking about what a neat show and I'd like to be on this or know somebody you want to call and recommend, they were most eager to tell their story. And that's what we want to do, tell the stories of wonderful local businesses.
Wonderful. Exactly. Exactly.
And along that line, we've already got 2 planned that we're going to prepare and have ready. Who's going to be on next week?
We're very excited. Next week, we're going to be speaking with Performance Heating and Cooling, which I believe is in Wilson, I think. And we're also going to have an opportunity to meet with Bridgestone Firestone. So don't miss us next week, Tuesday night at 8:30. And if you're interested in having your business on the show, please contact WHIG. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
One company is on a mission to put 1 million people to work each year. Sounds like a big number, doesn't it? Not to Express Employment Professionals. Maybe you're a skilled welder, or you're an expert in logistics and distribution. We take pride in connecting the right people with the right company. Let us help. We'll open doors for you. Express is on a mission to put 1 million people to work each year.